What's up everyone, Lion Roar here, and in today's video I'm going to do a fall 2024 tier list update part 2 because there's been a lot of changes to the meta since my last video and I want to cover those, including the new Serpentide clan, which I'm going to do a little bit of testing before I decide exactly which tier to put those into. So let's dive in. All right, so let's go ahead and start with some demotions because there's been a lot of shifting in the meta and some of the heroes we need to actually move down, starting with one that might be a surprise to some of you, which is Male Water and Sun is no longer S tier. I am moving Male Water and Sun down to A, which does not mean that Male Water and Sun is bad. I'm still putting him in A because he is still the best healer in the game and he's still necessary for like guild conquest and Valley of Conquerors, where you have to try and go through and beat a bunch of enemies and you can't do it unless you've got a healer keeping your team alive. So that's why he's still an A, but he is not the damage dealer that he used to be. He used to be one of the heroes on your team that would just wipe out the other team completely, and the stronger Male Water and Sun always won. But now the meta is just so much faster than he is, and in a lot of matches I am ending it with him not even being close to the top damage dealer. Sometimes he doesn't deal any damage whatsoever. He's just there as a healer pretty much. All right guys, quick break from my usual content because I have some exciting news. Today's video is sponsored by Marvel Strike Force. And if you're a Marvel fan like me, you are going to love this. Marvel Strike Force is a dynamic squad-based RPG where you can assemble the ultimate team of heroes and villains to battle iconic enemies in epic combat. The strategy, the combos, it's addictive. I've been building my squad and trust me, figuring out the best team-ups is half the fun. And if you use my link in the description or the QR code, you'll get free characters this month, like Agatha Harkness, who is one of my favorites, and trust me, you are not going to want to miss this. I've been playing this on my phone and the gameplay is smooth. The graphics are killer. I've been mixing in some lesser known characters with fan favorites like Iron Man, and the way the synergies work together, it's insane. You really have to think about your team setup, which makes it feel rewarding when you win tough battles. But wait, there's more. It's spooky season, so use code Halloween to get 100 free shards for Zombie Iron Man, 600,000 gold, and 480 L2 training modules. Who doesn't want Zombie Iron Man? So don't forget to use my link or scan the QR code to download Marvel Strike Force today. New characters drop constantly, like Agatha this month and Blade and his team of Night Stalkers. So it's the perfect time to jump in. Download Marvel Strike Force today. Links in the description and the QR code's right here. Now also, I'm gonna move Narrated Female down to A, again, not because she's bad, and in fact she would still be S tier, but she did get replaced by another hero I'm going to talk about in just a minute here. Already just the slot that she should be in on the meta teams is taken up, and so she's still very, very good. She's really hard to beat, and she can absolutely be on top teams. So some other ones I'm going to move down here. Bloodstorm, I think, is no longer an A, a great Bloodcraft champion, but she's getting to be older and not necessarily a key piece to top teams. Corbett Male's not functioning like I think he should. He's just not doing as good of a job, so he's going to go into the B tier here. A lot of these others are still A tier heroes. I'm going to leave Silken Crown Male here for now because he can still be on a top team, but he's getting very close to being a B. I think we can move Pandaco Male down though, just because he's very, very tough to beat, but he doesn't do enough in matches, I don't think. So that's why he's going to be there. As far as the ones that are in the B that need to go to C tier, Choir Discordant Female, I'm going to leave her there, but she's getting very close to coming down. A lot of these feel like that to me. Stone Thrower Female, I think I can move down because she's just not seeing much action at all. Same as Gulltongue Female. I'm going to leave these tanks here because they're really good. They're just not Askavarj. And Yin Female, I don't think she's doing enough. In fact, I've been disappointed by her, and maybe other people can get her to work. I just haven't really been able to. I'm going to leave the rest of these here. There's not many good warriors in the game. That's why those are there. And this all looks fine to me there. So as far as the C's and the niche heroes go, I'm going to leave that alone for right now because I think those are mostly good. But what I want to talk about now are the new heroes. Starting out with the male Dire, he is a really great hero. And so I'm going to put him in the A tier. Because he just does a lot of the things that I like and think are right in this game, but there's a reason he's not S tier, and it's the same reason the Nereid female is not S tier. It's because the Dire female knocked them both out of contention for the S tier. She sits in that spot where she's the big damage dealer. She's really hard to deal with, except that she is a little bit fragile. If she gets going with her poison, then the match is going to be over. But there is a way, if you build your team right, you can take her down. So she does have one Achilles heel. However, there's some other new heroes that make it really, really difficult to actually get to her and kill her, which is why she's solidly here in the S tier. Now, Fumi is one of the new heroes that is really also keeping her up there in the S tier and protecting her. And he is a Bloodcraft champion that was released, and he is also S tier. He just does it all on the battlefield. So he's not the big damage dealer on the battlefield. She is. And you're going to see with my S tier heroes here, this is pretty much a top meta team. If you are going to build a top team, it's going to be these S tier heroes. And it's probably going to be Male Water and Sun too, to be quite honest. It's just you're going to notice that Male Water and Sun is starting to fall off. And if they come out with another healer, then he could get replaced altogether. But Fumi in particular, he's a support hero on your team. He just does a really good job linking with a hero in the back. And in fact, if you put him in the back, you can basically choose which hero you want him to link to on purpose. And that's just going to make it all the much more powerful. So, the two heroes I like to link him to are Male Water and Sun, just to make sure that I'm getting more out of the Male Water and Sun. But I mean, Dire is so good that a lot of people are just going to want to link him to Dire female, because the better you make her, and he makes the hero he links to better, the better your team is going to be overall. Let's look at Unmayung Male. This is also a really great hero. I can't say that it's S tier, but boy, I've seen him on some top teams and he is hard to deal with. So hard to deal with. So, when we're looking at the 4 S tier heroes here, there's a lot of A tier heroes that can take that last spot. I've seen people use Kivak female in that last spot. I've seen Male Water and Sun in that last spot. I've seen the Unmayung in that, Nereid female in that. Phoenix has been in that. I've used Selphos female, not in place of Male Water and Sun, but in that top team. She's so good at extremely high vigor levels. So this is kind of rounding out the top meta team right here, and Unmayung Male is part of that. Now, Unmayung female has not really done as much, so I'm going to put her in the C level. There's not really much of a reason to use her, but if you're a newer player or like free-to-play mid-tier player, she can find some use. The Jin Male, he's kind of in the same boat there. But I do think that the female's a little bit better. I can put her in B tier. I like a lot of the things she does. She's the one that I favored on release, but she's not going to make it into any of my top teams. At this point, we have enough heroes among the S, A, and B tier that you can absolutely make your top 3 teams out of those. And some of these are just going to be left by the wayside, even if they're pretty good heroes. And now we have the Serpentide clan. I've watched a number of other people's videos on the Serpentide male, and I did not choose to level him, so I haven't personally done the testing, but from what I've seen, he's just okay. And when I say just okay, I mean like C. But now it comes down to the Serpentide female. What do I think of that? Well, I want to show you a little bit of the testing, and then I'm going to tell you what I think her final tier rank is. Just real quick, I maxed out my female Serpentide. I got her up to 36 vigor, and the traits that I chose were, first and foremost, Plume Dance, which goes really well with the brand new trait on her, which is increasing the crit rate for the first 15 seconds of the battle. And of course, Plume Dance increases crit damage by quite a lot for the first 15 seconds. So I'm hoping that she's going to be part of a team that is lightning quick and tries to win the battle right at the beginning. I also went with strength traits, so aggressive and brutal, and then Pure Heart, because I want her ultimate to go off as soon as possible. Like I said, I want everything to happen within 15 seconds. And whenever her ultimate goes off, then you're more likely to win. Plus, this is just a really sweet looking hybrid. Let's start out taking her against a relatively meta team here. I am the more powerful team. It's really hard in my server to find people in this mid-range. Everyone's either much weaker than this team or much more powerful than this team. But I didn't want to start out with my top team. I want to start out with this sort of third level team that I have here. This is my little male water and sun. But I did want to put the female Nereid with her. And male Akuna, and of course female host. So these are all top heroes just to see how she stacks up both against great opposing heroes, but also the great heroes on her own team here. So we can see she goes off third here. We'll see what kind of impact she has on the board. I mean, like I thought, everybody kind of just blew up the board here, but hey, you know what? She did okay. Now, male Acuna still outdid everybody. Female Nereid way up there. Those are absolutely amazing heroes that are in the top tier. She looked okay there. I wouldn't say she's quite up to their level, but as far as damage goes, that looks pretty good. Now I'm going to run her with my top team, and this is going to be really tough, even though I have more power, and hopefully I would win. I think she's going to have a tough time hanging just with these top tier heroes on both teams, just my opinion, because she didn't quite even like match up with male Acuna in the last one, or the female Nereid, and here we've got a female Nereid on the other side of the battlefield, so I'm a little worried about this, but let's go ahead and watch this one and see what happens here. I did use my Fumi to link up with the male water and sun, and so I probably am gonna win. I'm not sure if it's because Serpentide female had anything to do with this. I'm actually surprised at this outcome. This was a little easier than I expected to go, but here she is. We'll see if she helps to finish things off here because she just went off right at the end with her ultimate skill. Okay, I mean, you know, it was my Lupercal who carried the day. She's not significantly behind male water and sun, surprisingly, or my Fumi. She's kind of right up there with them. I don't know if it's worth replacing the female Dire, who I took out of this roster to do this. I think I probably would have been even more dominating in that particular one if I had the female Dire, but she replaced her, and I mean did fine on this team. This is a different but very similar team I'm going up against. Similarly, I'm more overpowered. It does look like I'm slicing through this team easier than I expected again, however, because it just feels to me like they have the slightly better heroes on the other side of the battlefield. But you know what? Maybe Serpentide female, even though her vigor is quite low, is gonna be able to hang with these heroes. Look at that. She was the number 2 damage dealer on my team. She's got less vigor than everybody else. She's only at 36. Everybody else is at like 120. So this is actually looking good. I still think female Dire takes that top spot and does more damage, but she's hanging with the team. Here we're going against a team that has more team power than I do, but I think I do have the slightly better heroes on my side of the battlefield overall. But we'll see. We'll see if we can take down a more powerful team, and it does look like we are. I mean, we just have a nice mix of synergy on our side of the battlefield. If you've noticed, Serpentide female does tend to fire her special after the other heroes on the team have been. So I'm not exactly sure like what kind of impact that's having with her being a little slower than that. But like in this one, it had a really big impact. As we can see, actually, male water and sun is the number 1 damage dealer in this one, followed closely by Lupercal and Fumi, and trailing behind is the female Serpentide there. But I've actually been somewhat surprised at the damage output here. It's just not with the highest tier heroes. Lastly, it wouldn't be a proper playtesting video if I didn't go against Fierce Daughter. She's got so much more team power than I do now, and she does always tend to have just really great synergistic teams. I'd be very surprised if I won this one, but I want to see how this female Serpentide hangs against one of the premier teams on my server. She's still alive. Wait, did you just see that? Wait, why are my heroes firing their specials after they're dead? Did you notice that? That was weird. But let's go ahead and look. Yeah, I mean, my Fumi did a great job. My Lupercal did a great job, but female Serpentide just couldn't hang. Neither could male water and sun. And that's what I was saying earlier. He just takes too long in this day and age. And so if he can't get off and use his special, he's not there with the S tier heroes anymore. This is a great example of that. So let's go ahead and rate the female Serpentide. You know, I think she's good. In fact, she surprised me a little bit. I didn't think she was going to be quite as good as she was. I really expected to come into this and see her maybe be B tier or something like that. But she did more damage than I expected. It just wasn't what you were seeing with some of these other heroes in the S tier, so I can't give her that. But you know what? To my surprise, I'm going to put her in the A tier. I think that it does take building her right. I think it takes having the right traits on her. I think I did get the right traits on her. I think it requires her, if you're going to use the traits that I used, like Plume Dance with her own trait, to make sure she's on a team where she gets to use her special fast, Pure Heart's another trait, but gets to use the special fast in addition to other really fast heroes. And I think she could be A tier for a little while. I don't know how long she's going to stick there, but for right now, yeah, I think she's in the mix. She's one of those that could be on a top team. She's probably not going to be on my top team, but she's right there. So yeah. Anyway, that's my tier list update. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, make sure to like, subscribe, and hit that bell notification, and I will catch you in the next one.